Today I'm going to show you how I drew this arrow type sign following the rules of two-point perspective. So grab your pencil, your ruler, your eraser, and a 9x12 piece of paper, and let's get started. I'm set up here with a paper that is 9 inches tall, 12 inches wide, and I'm ready to draw an arrow type sign. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my eye level, and I want to use this measurement for it, 4.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and measure from my upper left hand corner down the side, and I'm going to measure 4.5 inches. And I'll put that mark right there, 4.5. I'll come over here to the upper right hand corner of my piece of paper, and I'll measure down the side the same distance, which is 4.5 inches right there. I'll line those up with my ruler, and I'm going to connect those across my page from left to right. Once again, this line here will be my eye level. Some people call it a horizon line, but I like eye level, and it means the height of the artist's eyes. I'm going to go ahead and label that right over here, right above the line. I'm going to print the two words eye level, E-Y-E-L-E-V-E-L. Okay, vanishing points. This will be a two-point perspective drawing, so I will need 2 vanishing points, and I'll set them up right here. I'll have one of them touch the edge of my paper here on the left side. I'll draw a little dot right there, and the initials VP. Coming over here to the right side, I'll do the same thing. I'll draw my dot so it touches the edge of my paper, and I'll label that VP2. 2 vanishing points. Okay, I'll get rid of this measurement right here, and we'll set up some more for you. So I'm going to use these measurements right here. I'm going to use 4, 5, 6, and 7. And in this case, I'm going to put those across the top of my paper, starting here in this upper left-hand corner. So I'll line up my ruler like this, and I'll make my marks. There's 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, across the bottom, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go across the bottom with those same measurements, and I'll use 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'm going to line up my 4-inch marks like this, and I'm going to draw from the top of my paper down until I hit my eye level, and I'll stop. 5-inch marks, I'll line those up like this, and I'll draw from the top of my paper down to the bottom of my paper, like that. 6-inch marks, I'll line those up here, and I'll draw from the top of my paper down to the bottom, the nice vertical line. And then finally, my 7-inch marks, I'll line those up like this, and I'll draw from the top of my paper down until I hit my eye level. Okay, there you go, just like that. Okay, I'm going to take these measurements off, and I'll use another one here, nice and easy, and I'm going to use 1 inch. So I'm going to come right here to my line, my 4-inch line right here, and I'm going to measure from the top of my piece of paper down exactly 1 inch, and I'll put a dot on the line right there, 1 inch down. I'll take my eraser and I'm going to erase above that dot like this. There we go. Okay, then I'm going to take that dot and I'm going to line it up with vanishing point number 2, as you can see here. And I'm going to draw until I hit this line over here, and I will stop just like that. Okay, I'm going to use this measurement once more, 1 inch, and I'll measure right here from this corner, and I'll measure down exactly 1 inch. Okay, and again, I'm going to line that 1 inch mark up with vanishing point number 2, like this, and I will draw like that, as you can see there. Now, what I'm trying to create at this moment is a capital letter T. So now it's time for my eraser, and I've got some extra lengths of line that I need to erase. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll erase here like this. This line right here, remember I'm trying to create a capital letter T. I'll erase right here like that. And right there. I'm also going to erase inside so it looks like the shape is all connected into one single shape, like that. And a little bit more right here. Okay, very good. Alright, I'm going to come down here to the bottom and I'm going to use the same measurement, 1 inch, and I'll measure up this line right here, and I'll measure 1 inch, and I'll put a mark right there. And I'm going to take that also towards vanishing point number 2. Okay, so I got that right there lined up with vanishing point number 2, and I'm just going to draw a short section in between these two vertical lines like this, and that'll give me the bottom of my T. Okay, I'm going to keep on erasing. I'm going to erase here, that extra length right there, and right here. So I forgot to erase this one here. Yep, get rid of that. Just like that. Okay, and also I'm going to erase part of my eye level right here, which is covered up by this T shape. Okay, so there I have my capital letter T, as you can see. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to add a triangle to this end of my T. Okay, so what I want to do is the next measurement I'm going to use, I'm going to continue to use this 1 inch measurement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my ruler on an even number right here, like this, and I'm going to draw upwards 1 inch, like that. Okay, so this distance here from here to here is 1 inch, and I'm going to do the same thing here, coming down this direction. So I'm going to line up my ruler with an even number to make it easy, and I'm going to draw down 1 inch. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to take a measurement from the distance from the top of this line here to the bottom of this one here. Now let me take a look at that and let's see what it is. Okay, so that looks like it's about, a little less than 2 3/4. And all I want to do is make an estimate where the middle of that is, and I'm thinking of a spot that's right here. Okay, so the middle of that, right there. Okay, now this is very important. Now the next thing I need to do is I need to take this dot, which is in the middle of this space, here, and I'm going to line it up with vanishing point number 2. And again, I'm going to extend out a nice 1-inch length like that. Okay, so that means this length here from here to here is 1 inch, from here to here it's 1 inch, and from here to here it's also 1 inch. Okay, now I'm going to connect the top of that line to the end of this one. And what I'm trying to do, as I mentioned, is to create a triangle on the end of my T. Okay, then I'm going to connect right here as well, like this. Okay, now I'll take my eraser, and I want this to be one single shape, so I'm going to erase like this, so my T and my triangle are connected together, one single shape. Okay, so you'll notice that so far today on this drawing I've just been using vanishing point number 2. So now I need to switch over and I need to use vanishing point number 1. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw from these locations 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And all those locations will be drawn towards vanishing point number 1. Okay, so I'll start here at the top. And I'm going to draw towards vanishing point number 1. Now I don't really need to draw all the way to my vanishing point, but I'm going to do it on this demonstration so you can see how it works. Okay, line number 2. I'm in this location here, like this, lined up with vanishing point number 1, and I'm going to draw right there towards my vanishing point. Next location is right here. I'm lined up carefully, drawing towards my vanishing point, like that. Okay, coming down here to the bottom of my stand for my sign, I'm lined up, and I'll draw towards vanishing point number 1. Okay, continuing, I'll come over here. Now in this case, I'm going to line this up, but I'm just going to draw from the top of that triangle towards vanishing point number 1, but I'm going to stop right here when I hit the top of my T. I'm not going to go any further than that. Okay, continuing. Right here is where I am next, lined up with vanishing point number 1. Again, I'm just going to draw until I hit the side of my T right there, no further. Okay, and then right here also at the bottom of this triangle, I'm going to line that up, draw it towards vanishing point number 1, like that. Okay, very good. All right, now let's use one more measurement today. So I'll just adjust this one, and let's use next, let's use 1/2 an inch. So what I want to do now is I'm going to draw, or rather measure, from this corner I'm going to measure straight out to the left 1/2 an inch. Now I'm not measuring up this line, don't be confused, I'm measuring straight out to the left, like this, and 1/2 an inch right there. Okay, then I'll come up here somewhere up in this area here, oh about right there or so. I'll do the same thing, I'm going to measure straight out to the left 1/2 an inch. Okay, right there, like that. Okay, I'm going to line up those two marks like this, and I'm going to draw in between these two lines right here like this. Okay, and that gives me the thickness of my stand. Okay, get out my eraser. I'm going to erase part of my eye level, which is now covered up like that. Okay, And then I'm going to erase down here all this extra section. I'm getting rid of that. There we go. And also I'm going to erase right here like this, getting rid of also this extra section of line that was going towards my vanishing point. Okay, there you go. And now we're ready for the next step. As you can see, I'm now working with an enlarged version of my drawing. You can no longer see my vanishing points, but we should be fine. Okay, now don't be confused as we finish off this sign. Okay, now what I need to do is I need to look for this corner right here where these two lines come together. And I'm going to line that up with vanishing point number 2. Okay, so once again, you can't see my vanishing point, but I am lined up now with my vanishing point. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to draw 2 sections of line. Okay, so don't be confused here. So I'm lined up carefully. I'm going to draw from this corner right here out towards the left, stopping right there when I hit that vanishing point. Okay, now don't move your ruler. I also need to draw a short section of line right here in between these 2 lines. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that like this, just like that. So remember, as I did these 2 lines that you see, I was lined up with vanishing point number 2. Okay, now let me take my eraser and I'm going to erase this section of the line right there. Okay, so I've gotten rid of that, as you can see. Alright, let's finish off our arrow. So now I'm looking right here. I'm looking at this corner that I've created where those 2 lines come together. And I want to put my ruler on this location so my ruler is straight up and down vertical. So I need to do this very carefully. I need to make sure my ruler is straight up and down. And then when I'm sure that it is nice and straight, I'm going to draw 2 sections of line. So I'm going to draw right here going down until I hit that vanishing point line right there. And I'm going to draw up here as well that short section in between those 2 lines. Okay, now let me move my ruler so you can see where they are. Okay, good. Alright, now with my eraser, I'm going to erase this extra section right here, as you can see. There we go. And also, I'm going to erase right here this section here, like that. Okay, and that finishes off the arrow. Alright, and then, as you can probably guess, the last line of the day is right here on the back end of this T-shape. I'll just take my eraser first and I'll clean that up right here, this extra section. I'll get rid of that. Okay, and then your last line right here, you want to do it very carefully. You want to line up on this corner here. You want to make sure ruler's nice and vertical, straight up and down. I'll be very careful with using careful judgment. I think that looks about right. And I'll draw right there, which finishes off the back end of my T. Okay, then I'll get my eraser like this, and I'll clean that up, just like that, erasing that extra section of vanishing point line. And there you have it, an arrow type sign drawn following the rules of 2-point perspective.